We talked about rights briefly, and Lena was saying that often the biggest problem in terms of multiple device, anywhere, any kind of content is actually the rights that were originally drawn up for that piece of content, or the way those rights have been traded. I had a kind of underlying assumption that moves like making a single market for copyright in Europe, which is what the European Commission wants to do, would actually be something that would, just add a huge layer of complication to conditional access vendors, because you then don't have discrete markets in terms of territories and pricing structures. But on the other hand, I guess it does bring the enormous advantage that if it was to work eventually, those rights headaches go out of the way.
I think that this unified copyright legislation by itself doesn't bring any more extra challenges, and whatever it will not be more complex than the combination of all different regional rules that we already have to deal with today. And if that takes place and we have to enforce that will become relatively easy for us to go and change the systems or whatever rules they are.
I suppose the real problem is with the business models of your customers.
Yes, I think the customers will have to adjust their business model. They'll have to sign or regenerate their content agreements and basically try to meet this new regulation. From our perspective, the only thing that may be a little bit challenging in this process is the change itself, because the change always poses a lot of activities, a lot of changes to the existing system, and the transitions are not cheap things to do. But I don't see any particular challenge with the result.
We were just talking about the potential of a single market for copyright in the EU and its implications for CA, but I guess its implications are more for your customers than for CA providers.
Well, for our customers, but I think mostly for content providers themselves, because they're accustomed to being able to come into the EU and sell their content, X number of times to every individual country on the continent. So that's going to represent potentially an incredible loss of revenue for them if that goes forward.
But the EU says that it's in order to promote creative industries because their content will then be available everywhere at the same time. Presumably watermarking would play a big part in trying to keep track of what we do.
I think for us, our view is, we are kind of territory agnostic, if you will. So I think, as my colleagues have said, this is actually more about, or the issues, and maybe we look at the strengths and the weaknesses, the deficiencies, rather, are in terms of those kind of territorial licensing agreements, which obviously are most often constructed around the business activities of a particular provider in a certain territory. So there the issues are. But I think for us, if you were, as we do, actually already work with you kind of multi-territory companies, that's beneficial for them, because it means they can deploy one technology or methodology across multiple territories. So actually, you can argue it kind of gives them economies of scale.
And for the watermarking, it's one master watermark that goes in to the master copy, if you like, or are you having to mark differently for a piece of content that is destined for a particular territory?
We as I said earlier, I think we want to apply the kind of suitable level of granularity to a piece of content. So it could be it's a linguistic version, it could be there's a dubbing issue, it could be something that's designed for a particular window, it's designed for a particular territory. So we can create on the fly bespoke identities, if you will, that give the relevant granularity for a piece of media that's going in this language, in this territory, in this window, for example, in this 90-day window. So for us, actually, it becomes an opportunity, a kind of unitary market.
And presumably the clue's in the name, in the sense that as a pirate, I can't remove it.
You cannot remove the watermark. Yeah, it's we talked about hacking earlier on, and I think we'd all be silly around this table to talk about the impenetrability of any system. Frankly, you kind of invite attack by saying that. So I think our view has always been that actually we create technologies to help content owners and their partners, platform operators, distributors, whoever, to maximise the value of their media. If there were to be a kind of concerted mass crowdsourced attack upon any of the technologies that are represented around this room, then, you know, I guess we'd all have to look long and hard and think, you know, could that work, would that not work? But I think our view is that watermarking is not about kind of denying access to something. As I said earlier, it's not about pushing gateways between consumer and content. We're just enabling, or we're recognising and detailing the flow of that content, if you will, between, you know, kind of content owner and its audience, legitimate or illegitimate.
So you can say that if you can make it, you can break it, and that the watermarking from Civolution is, for all practical reasons, it's not possible to remove.
I think what we would say is that the watermarking that we have deployed, whether it be, you know, in the movie environment with, you know, pre-release of, you know, the biggest motion pictures of the last, you know, kind of 5-10 years, whether it's the fact that we are mandated within, you know, the DCI in America for digital cinema, and by extension now in other territories, whether it be, you know, kind of in this burgeoning, Christopher talked about the home premiere environment, where, you know, people like DirecTV are trying to kind of create innovative new business models where watermarking is a stipulation, whether it be in, you know, kind of classic linear television, whether it be in, you know, some parts of the internet. I think our view is that, you know, we have achieved a de facto standard endorsed by the studios in terms of the concept of watermarking. But, you know, can you ever say, you know, that we won't be broken, that, you know, you won't, anybody around this table? I mean, I think that's frankly a dangerous thing to say. So,
yeah, I think so too. But I think it's also important to be aware of that. To remove this watermarking, you need. You can probably not do it on the original content. You have to videotape it and try to distort the information in such a way that even the content will be destroyed. And I think that is the whole idea behind watermarking, that the content will pretty much be destroyed if you try to remove it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the levels of degradation or deterioration that have to be applied to, you know, do something with that watermark, you're right, make it frankly, you know, a very unfriendly kind of media consumption experience. So would you want to do that? Yeah, maybe there are people who want to do that, I don't know.
So it would be so bad that your teenagers, they will not like to watch it.
My teenagers only buy stuff legitimately anyway, of course. But
We've heard that if you can make it, you can break it. I'm not sure if that's a conclusion that everybody in the conditional access business would wish to draw. So touching on that, and also on how things will look in a couple of years' time, I think any further down the road than that, it's unwise to look. We'll just go around the table and see what people think. Alec.
Well, I think in a theoretical standpoint, obviously everything can be broken, but we talked about good enough security, we've talked about different levels of security, we talked about educating the different participants in the whole chain as to what security means and what needs to be done. And at the same time, we recognize we need to provide flexible solutions to multiple different devices. So, you know, that's really what it's about. It's about monetizing content. You know, we don't have the ability to spend any amount of money like, you know, the U.S. Military maybe, the sticking cipher boards in everybody's brain or something like that. So, you know, I think it's about helping our service providers monetize their content that they have and provide a good solution. Keep out some of the over-the-top companies that are threatening to change the game a little bit. So allow them to leverage that rather than new upstarts. So, you know, I think we have the solutions to do that, and it's certainly good enough security. It's more than good enough.
Yeah.
Well, I think the current state of the art and conditional access business shows that this is a great business to be. The business is doing very well and has a lot of potential success in many next years. I think that addition of the over-the-top devices, of the open devices, as I said at the beginning, is an opportunity to go and extend our business to new horizons. And, you know, sometimes this whole security and content protection is compared to a cat and mouse game, and I think that even in a cat and mouse game you can still choose a side, and it's better to be a cat.
Christopher.
No, I agree 100%. And the reason it's better to be a cat is because I think the cat has smarter strategies. I think we help our pay TV operators and our over-the-top operators, because your Detto has those as well, to deliver content in a way that has renewable security, that has smart strategies behind it. So technology may always be fundamentally imperfect, but you can always compensate that with a smart strategy and renewability. In terms of the next 5 years, content has to go everywhere because that's where people want it to go. And so that's what we're in the business of enabling, and we'll be doing that securely and helping our customers do that as efficiently as possible.
Trygve?
I think it's very interesting to see how aware people I would say in the world has become of security. When you look at how everybody is aware of social engineering, for example, how to get passwords out of your computer or try to incline yourself so you can get information out of, let's call them your victims. To hack internet banking and your Facebook account or PlayStation network. And I think that is in a conditional access way or DRM way, a dream that our customers and clients, they become more and more security aware, that their awareness of security is much higher than previously. So in that way, I think that we will keep on being ahead of pirates or hackers, because our clients also become much more security aware. I think that is important.
And Andy, I guess you're in the business of tracing the mouse if it gets out of the trap.
Yeah, I think so. But I guess my kind of final observation is that, you know, we've talked about the challenges of the things we do, the way we try as people around this table to help the content community, the broadcast in its broader sense, you know, deliver compelling experiences to its consumers. You know, that's a nice place to be, I think. You know, we know there are challenges. The challenges will frankly grow. As I said earlier, I think, you know, things will never be as slow as they are now. So it's only going to get faster, multiplicity of devices, platforms, etc. So, you know, that I think puts us as an industry at a very kind of crucial funnel point for the media ecosystem. So actually, you know, it may be tough and it will be tough, but actually the role we have to play collectively is hugely important, I think. And you know, that's a challenge I suspect we all want to have.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We've certainly covered a lot of ground this morning on, as Andy just said, a completely kind of crucial area of the industry. And I hope you've found it interesting. Thanks for looking in.